So Novak Djokovic, the world's #1 tennis player, goes to Australia to defend his Australian Open title. And it's all very straightforward and very clear. Australian tennis says, yes, you can come in. And if you look at Victoria state law, and here it is, makes it perfectly clear that one of the exemptions from having to quarantine when you get into Australia is having had COVID within the last 6 months and, of course, testing negatively. Back in December, Djokovic had COVID-19 and he's got the PCR results to prove it. So he flew to Australia believing there wasn't a problem at all. Now, perhaps it's not surprising that some Australians, given his high profile, weren't very happy about this because they'd been one of the most locked down countries in the world. Not, of course, that that's made any difference to the outbreaks that come wave after wave. But it's then that big government, big, bullying, nasty government intervenes and the federal government goes over the top of Victoria State. And Scott Morrison, the Prime Minister, says there must be no exemptions for anyone. Well, just read what Victoria State law says. If you're flying into Melbourne, it's perfectly clear. And I'm pretty sure that if he hadn't been the #1 tennis player in the world, there just wouldn't have been a problem. The most astonishing thing with all of this is how few people are prepared to speak out. How the broadcasters are making out that somehow Djokovic is a threat to public health. Well, he absolutely isn't. As we know, it doesn't matter whether you've had 1, 2, 3, or in Israel, 4 injections of this vaccine. You can still catch it, you can still spread it. So provided you tested negative, met the rules, I cannot see what the problem is. Now, I do know the Djokovic family, and I have spoken to them this morning at some length. And here's what happened. He was actually arrested. I mean, be in no doubt about that, he was arrested. His wallet has been taken. His mobile phone has been taken. He's been put into a rundown hotel, which is more akin to a prison, although I think the food is probably somewhat worse, which for a very fit athlete must be a very unhappy state of affairs. And worst of all, the Australian Home Affairs Minister, Karen Andrews, gives a press statement and says he's free to leave when he likes. Well, that is not the true situation. Absolutely not. Because if he was just to leave, he'd be banned from going back to Australia for the next 3 years, which would put him at the age of 37, which for winning Grand Slams is difficult. And that's why he has to go through this appeal process. He has to go through this ruling that'll take place on Monday. I can't prejudge what will happen, but it seems to me that Australia has lost any sense of liberty, any sense, frankly, of common sense. And I expect that he's going to be deported. But I will be talking to the family. I will keep you up to date. Oh, and by the way, fans that have been turning up outside the tennis tournament have been holding up Djokovic scarves and told they must hide them from public view. What has happened to Australia? And what has happened here to us? Why are the majority prepared to allow big government, in the name of fighting this virus, to take away our liberties and freedoms? Do you know, if they can treat the world's #1 tennis player like this, just think one day what they might do to you.
Thank you for watching this video. Now, to make sure you don't miss any future videos, please click the subscribe icon and the notification bell. Until next time, when I give you another story that mainstream media dare not cover.